Pardon the Spartan appearance of the laboratory here. The broadcast center, the hub of the broadcast center for all important information. I was just reviewing some old videos I made, one back in particular back in February of 2020, over a year ago, almost 2 years ago now. It was regarding when they were just starting to, talk about the COVID and all that, and it's quite remarkable. With the Omicron variant now rearing its head around the world, it's put us back where we were at the beginning, it seems like. Now I wonder if we'll be more reluctant to shut down, seeing how the shutdowns really affected the economy and basically put the whole country into a turmoil. I'm talking about the United States here. It turned it upside down. We saw, I mentioned a paradigm shift was coming, and it did, occur. So it's upon us, and we're now having to think differently, view things differently, react differently, adapt in different ways in order to survive and to navigate in this world. So we see quite possibly a new level, a deeper level of this disease coming. Now they're saying, some reports say that it's milder versions of COVID. They're just more highly transmissible. But then I read another report that said, well, the cases where they were reported as being mild were in younger people. This is talking about people over in Africa. And it was actually the same old story, the older people and the people with underlying conditions that were dying. Well, that's what we had here before. I would venture a guess and say that most people have some type of underlying condition. We're not a robust people in general. I mean, look at the pharmaceutical industry, all the pills that are necessary for people to take every day just to stay alive or to maintain some level of static health that's neither going bad or good, but they need this. And so I think a lot of those people would be considered as having underlying conditions, high blood. For crying out loud, they said high blood pressure, hypertension was an underlying condition, and I've got that, and a lot of people, have that and might not even know it. So if something as commonplace as high blood pressure and I don't want to say commonplace as kidney disease, but it is kind of common for people to have bad kidneys. I can't tell you how many people I've known personally that are on dialysis or requiring a kidney transplant, probably due to high blood pressure. But anyways, my point that I think I'm trying to make is, if this variant is just close to what we've had in the Delta, and it's more transmissible, then we're in some really serious trouble coming into the months ahead of us. Now, I've mentioned before, I have jury duty coming up in December. Now, I was kind of excited about it thinking that, well, I've had my vaccinations. I did get my booster. I got my booster back on the 4th of November. So I am boosted. And so I was feeling confident that I'd be able to go in there. And all of this was before the announcing of the Omicron variant. So now I'm concerned, but now also I have kind of a good situation going with all of that. I've got for the week of Monday, the 20th of December through Friday, the 24th, and I looked it up, and the LA Superior Courts here are closed on the 24th of December. So I've really only got to deal with 4 days, Monday through Thursday. Don't get called in on one of those days, and I'm home free. So I was in a bit of a dilemma wondering, should I play it? Should I go to the doctor and say, hey, I'm getting some anxiety over this. I'm worried about the COVID. I've got high blood pressure. Got a few extra lbs on me that I don't want to be carrying around during a pandemic that attacks, fat people and stuff. Not that I'm necessarily fat, but I've seen people who looked less fat than I, who got COVID and died. And they said, well, he was overweight. But man, he only looked like he was about 15 to 20 pounds overweight. And I'm probably 25 to 30 pounds overweight, where I should be. But I carry it well. I can, I work out and I'm able to. And of course, people a lot healthier, a lot thinner, have also fallen over dead from that. And that's not even really the main concern. There's other things to worry about: having your heart damaged, having your lungs damaged, people needing lung transplants, people having extremities amputated. It's all very serious stuff. So I'm kind of decided I'm just going to wait it out and see if I get called in on the 20th through the 23rd. And then I'll play it by ear. I'll see the news. I'll see the reports. I'll see how or if this new variant is affecting here in the greater Los Angeles area. And if it looks like it's too thick and heavy, I will call in for an excuse on the day. That's what I'll do. It's self-preservation at that point, self-preservation. So, have to do a little bit of gamesmanship there, You do have to look out for yourself in some ways when these pandemics hit. And, what have all these smash and grabs taking place? It's an epidemic of that as well. These violent store invasions where people go in there and just rip off everything and run out. I read a report today that said that it was larger crime syndicates that were hiring basic street thugs to go in and do this, teenagers and stuff, gangbangers, wannabe gangbangers or whatever. So it's kind of scary. It's
excuse me,
organized, and they got a strong.
So
I guess that's more or less what I had to say.
Strong
I
entity
think
behind them.
so. You don't want to get in their way. What the world is seeing now with this pandemic is not going to end until it burns through us completely. It could be with us another 100 years. We could see the population of the world drastically reduced. I've seen deaths close to me because of COVID. Next door neighbors, family members, church members, co-workers, all ill from or dead from COVID. The only reason I haven't gotten it is because I don't go out. There are times when I do have to go out because of my job. But I'm not going out anywhere. I'm not going to restaurants. I'm not going to where people are for leisure, if I don't have to. So I'm not in large crowds and enclosed areas, which is where I would have to be in jury duty. So, yeah, it's interesting living in these times. Loading up on hard drives. Been loading up on hard drives to store information on, Got to keep information readily accessible. So I've got, all these external hard drives I've got jacked in everywhere. Not really using the cloud. Not really using the cloud. Not using a Pemex neuro implant either. I'm not a courier of information, so I don't know. Speaking of Keanu Reeves, right? I'm looking forward to the new Matrix coming out in December. Really looking at it. And it's coming out the same week I got jury duty, right? So I could probably just call in and say, hey, Matrix is out and I really want to see it. I don't want to have to be worried about catching COVID and ruin my, movie experience. It is going to be on HBO Max, so I'll be able to stream it here at home and not have to go to a theater or anything like that, which is kind of cool. So I'm anxious about that. I hope he's insane. I hope the whole thing was just that's what they're kind of showing in the trailers, right? But I know it's also showing that there's got some of that Matrix type action going on. But I kind of wanted to think that it'd be kind of cool that it's sort of a Total Recall kind of a thing where he wasn't really experiencing all of that. He was just psychologically damaged. And because I like the psychologically damaged type motif where people are experiencing great and wonderful things, but it's not necessarily really happening. I kind of like that because it kind of gives common folk like myself, hope and a chance to think that, I could have one of these adventures too inside my head without leaving my room, which is kind of cool. Because after all, I'm not really an adventurer out there. I just pretend to be one inside my head. So, wow, that was a weird flash there. I wonder what mark that was. At about the 4-minute, 20-second mark. It was kind of unusual. Right on. So I'm going to get going. I'm going to do a little bit of magic on this. As much magic as I can possibly do, and then paste it on up and post it on up, and then I'm gonna enjoy the evening. I've already eaten some peanuts, so that's PEANUTS, peanuts. All right, just want to make that clear. All right. Drop me a line. Just about everybody I know is gone on a permanent basis, here as far as humanity and the world is concerned, they're gone. So I don't really have a lot of people left. And so if you want to drop me a line, let me know I'm a friendly person. Right on? Okay. So I'm going to check out of here right now and just say out.